oh, I'm going to butcher this name. Is it Shalev?
Yes.
Ah! All right, sorry. This call is already a success for me.
I answer to the thing that's the closest. If they get close enough, then I answer.
Oh, okay. But if not, then not. You just give them the silent treatment till they try again.
Oh, totally. I ignore them forever.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm feeling a little bit goofy because that really long, frustrating call is over. So.
Oh, yes, the word salad call.
So I'm in like a.
I didn't listen to some of it.
Oh. I'm sorry.
You spared yourself.
Yeah. So, yeah. So the note says that you're having some issues with family relations. Hopefully, well, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, so I grew up as the evangelical Pentecostal Christian in the very conservative realm of Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved from West Virginia to Seattle, and that's a little bit more of a liberal area. So the brand of Christianity there is a little bit different. And then I started having issues with my faith because, you know, the New Testament and the Old Testament don't quite work together, and I was still a literal Christian at that time. So then I converted to Judaism. So I went from fundamentalist Christian to Orthodox Judaism.
Ooh,
my family didn't quite know what to do with that because I still believed in God, but I didn't believe in what they believed.
Yeah.
So it was difficult for them to deal with.
You were incomplete.
Then I just needed Jesus.
Yeah.
And then about a year ago, I went through a terrible thing with my mother-in-law, who she was pretty much just emotionally and verbally abusive. And then through that whole experience, I ended up becoming an atheist because she ended up doing the thing of, like, her abuse was tied in with God, so I was trying to figure out how all the stuff that she says about God actually works. And I'm pretty sure you know how that whole rabbit hole goes.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad to hear that you are in the group of people that get subjected to that, struggle with that, and come to the conclusion that, no, I don't deserve this. Because there are people that go the other way. Yeah, that's a hard hill to climb.
Yeah. So now that I'm no longer believe in any sort of God, I'm pretty much the black sheep of my family who needs to be saved. So I'm the angry, hurt atheist who needs everyone to go save them. And I've been trying to explain why I find religion in general to be hurtful and manipulative. But then usually the response is, well, you can't use basically bad Christians to tell you what Christianity is. But how are you supposed to tell the difference?
Yeah. That's well, those Christians don't count, no true Scotsman sort of thing.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, well, those aren't real Christians.
Yeah.
Or those people are Christians, but they're like,
they're bad at it. Oh, those Christians, they're amateurs. Don't talk to them. Yeah. We're the professional Christians, right? I've heard things like that before. Yeah, like I have a friend who will admit that Hitler thought he was a Christian. He just was bad at it. He was doing it wrong. So it's sort of like, okay, well, at least you're not.
My family just believes that he was an atheist, and
of course
people want to rewrite history.
Yep.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So the other issue is that I am bisexual. My family also doesn't like that either. And
I was tempted to say, go figure, but sorry.
So my mom is upset that I've turned towards bisexuality and gone away from God. And she thinks that since I accepted my bisexuality, that has led me to not believe in God.
Yeah.
which is partially true, I guess.
Okay.
I mean,
because I don't it obviously doesn't work with the Bible.
No.
It doesn't work.
Most instances where women get respect don't work with the Bible.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's partially true that I wanted to be happy and not hate myself, and then I couldn't make the Bible work with me being happy. So,
I mean, it may not feel like it. I mean, one, you know how difficult this has been for you, and it is difficult for anyone that goes through this experience or any experience like it. But two, I mean, we've only been talking for, maybe 8 minutes or something, but just the way you're describing this lets me know that you have a strength of character that I probably envy quite a bit, just based on how well you're able to respond to these things. I don't know what the time frame is or how long you've had to deal with and overcome these things, but it seems like you're climbing these hills that are very steep and difficult to get through, if you don't mind metaphysical language too much coming from a Pentecostal tradition. But yeah, but it seems like you're doing a really good job and finding your way. But I can understand that no matter what happens, it's sort of like, well, family, these people raised me, and I know exactly what it is to not be able to, live and let live. I'll get past this, even if my family has a problem with it, because that's the power that family has.
Well, it's also that they want me on Facebook with them, but then they're conservative evangelical Christians who love Trump, and then they want me to not. They want me to not respond to anything that they post.
Yeah, well, if you don't mind me interjecting,
of course,
and saying that you have the right to your agency and the right to your happiness. And it is a difficult thing to navigate and also have to put boundaries on family members. But it is necessary, because oftentimes family can be the worst ones for you. And this is something that people don't want to admit, but especially when you have family members that are that close-minded and they want you to just go along with what they want. They aren't looking out for your best interests. And like Jamie said, you had the courage to realize that, to come to terms with your sexual identity, and therefore understood that this God that you once believed in, it doesn't reconcile that this God you believed in is happy with you being yourself. So therefore, and then also based on the lack of evidence, you've concluded that more than likely this God does not exist, which doesn't make you evil. And I think that that's what part of the issue may be, is that there is this fear that, of course, now your family thinks you're going to hell or you're going to be eternally damned.
They've been worried about my children. Like, am I going to tell my children? What am I going to tell my children?
Right. And my thing is they seem to be awfully concerned about your life when perhaps they should be worried more about their own.
Yeah.
So, there is possible to tell, to let them know, look, this is my life. I'm doing the best I can for my children. I love them. That hasn't changed. And so, this notion that somehow you're turning, you're flipping and you're just going to the ways of the devil, and that's probably what the notion is, is just utterly ridiculous. But that's their fear. It doesn't have to be yours.
It's more whenever they question my parenting that I get really upset.
Yeah.
Understandably so.
Yes, absolutely.
Like whenever they do the thing of like, well, like this one more came from my mother-in-law, where like apparently because I made some sort of joke, I now wanted to turn my husband gay and then destroy the souls of my children.
Oh dear.
Jeez. Sorry. Every time that I hear one of these things, and it's not directly my family, because I hear things like that from my family as well. I'm actually tempted to make the flippant remark that I think of, which is like, really? So I have the power to destroy souls? Just
apparently I do.
Yeah. Where's your God now?
Apparently I do. Apparently I want to make my husband gay because then he wouldn't love me anymore because then he'd be gay. But apparently I want that because that would make me happy.
Oh, boy.
Makes a lot of sense to me.
I know, doesn't it?
What? Yeah, that one's gonna boggle my mind for a while.
Yeah, don't worry, I haven't figured it out either.
There might not be something there to figure out, to be honest. Yeah, so what I will say is dealing with family is always complicated, and what ends up happening when there's a disagreement like this, particularly if this is something that you've shared with your family for a long time, is that relationships get taken for granted, right? Oh, you will always be my child. Yep, but that doesn't always mean that we're going to be as close as we have been in the past, or because I'm an adult, you're an adult, and the way you're treating me is not something that I can accept, right? And that's absolutely difficult. It's sort of one of the hardest things about growing up is realizing that your parents are people and not either angels that are perfect or demons that are trying to destroy your life, which tends to be the other ways that goes. And so, I mean, you have this bond with them that, you don't necessarily have.
The other thing that I don't understand, so the other thing that I don't understand is they like to use the phrase of like, well, these people aren't real Christians. But I grew up with them, and I remember all the things that they said. And I remember being in a church service where they talked about how the gays were going to destroy America. And I remember my dad sitting next to me, nodding along, and everybody else in the service saying amen.
So they are being real Christians.
My father and everybody else in the service not real Christians either?
Right, yeah.
Well, wait, wait, are you saying that their stance on the gay destruction of America has changed, for lack of better phrasing?
I don't know now.
So I've seen that as well, right?
But then they also say that gay people are sinning, and that they're basically making America terrible.
Do they say that in a context directly referring to you? Because there's a similar experience that I've shared with basically they're family friends, but they're basically aunt and uncle to me. That when they learned that I had now dated not one but two different men or whatever, different times, but it was something that they knew, but they didn't bring up directly. But then, we'd be hanging out and, she's basically my cousin / sister wanted to watch, Project Runway or something. They're like, change the channel. No one wants this. It's only you. And she's like, well, maybe Jamie wants to watch it as well. And it's sort of like, I know, like, one, that's not really how being gay works. I don't know how to sew. But two, it's like, it's something that they know, but that they have, like, whatever issues dealing with, but they still know me. And so they choose not to make an issue of it. And that's a good sort of détente to meet with, like a neutral zone to meet. Yeah. When it comes to them having something to say about your kids, step one is find the situation where they stop that crap. But like step two, trying to reach like a deeper understanding, right? Like everyone should be jealous of Dan Barker that he deconverted and then so did his parents. I don't know. Maybe he found a cheat code or something, but yeah. But I feel like trying to find a way where they can, like Matt's parents, accept that, oh, maybe you're of the devil and maybe you're sinning and maybe you will destroy America. But, oh, we made this pot roast and it's going to be really delicious. Come share it with us. Like, if nothing else, fundamentalist Christians are very well practiced at compartmentalizing. And so if they can put in one compartment, we love our daughter, and in another compartment, well, I like, Trump and gays are bad, then at the very least, your family relations will be bolstered by that.
Yeah. I think some of my family has done the thing that you just described, and then I've watched other people in my family get more vocal about it.
Yeah. But do they say that you should leave the house and never return and be gone forever?
They haven't said that, but they'll be more vocal in my face about how they need to pray for me because I've given over to the sin of homosexuality. Because they won't say bisexuality because that doesn't exist. But I've given over to the sin of same-sex attraction.
Okay. It is sort of interesting that they've come up with a more antiseptic term for these things rather than just calling everything sodomy now. It's weird to say that that's progress, but it probably is. It's a step forward for them. I don't know. Well, so here's what I will say. We have one last caller to get to, and you know, I have no idea what words my producer is going to say to me for going this far over time. But I do want to hear from you again, and you know, have you call back as long as you're willing. And I know that Eric will want to talk to you about this as well because he has, you know, a larger family with more experiences like this. He's smiling at me.
Yeah, I have a nice large family of conservatives.
Yeah, well, my family's split, so Thanksgiving was
evangelical
fun.
Christian.
Yeah, yeah. My family is split, and most of them are lawyers, and the other half argue like they're lawyers. So Thanksgiving was a test in argumentation, always.
Well, that sounds like the Jewish side of my family.
Hey. Well, you know, L'chaim.
Where we argue about everything just because we can.
Yes,
all the time.
yes. Oy vey, right? Well, here. Well, anyway, I want to move on and catch this last caller because I don't know how long he's going to go.
Okay.
But I hope that you call back and then, you know, you get in touch. And it may not seem like it even in the moment, but or maybe it does to you because you called in, but having someone to talk to that understands, oh, yeah, you know, you and your family had this conversation. I've been there is helpful. So find us online as well.
I will. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Shalev.
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 It's Shalev, yes.
All right.